Brandon.
And you'll be in a world of legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host Primetime Phil, and today we're going to be discussing the rivalry that has reignited itself, and of course because we are no longer part of the NFC East, no, we are a beast, and these are the two teams of the front runners. Yes, we're talking about our Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's not me versus Gametime, but it's Gametime is in the house. What's going on, Brian? How you doing, man?
What's up, Primetime Phil? If anybody watched Mark Holmes' stream, I'm still fired up. Took a little breather. I haven't relaxed. I'm ready for a wild show. Where's my Eagle people out? I see Philadelphia in the house. What up? What up?
See Twiz in there, of course.
Twiz is in there. Thanks for supporting my man.
And we got a good.
We're
good
not
channel.
happy here, so we're coming strong. How are you doing, Phil? That's the question. How are you doing this fine evening?
Well, I honestly, I have family in town, some in-laws, so celebrated a birthday today. So there's, some alcohol here, there, but I'm feeling pretty good about this going into this broadcast, and I feel good in general, man. Both teams, they should feel proud of themselves in the sense of where they're at. They both got winning records. We know that this is going to be a tough battle either way. Both fans, they can be confident in their team, but there's no way that you're feeling 100% knowing that what the other team is capable of doing. So, Brian, man, I don't know where you want to start, but I want to start with the chat because the chat is banging right now.
Chat, man.
Of course, we had people in here like Lord Nova, Rhonda with her cooking ways, Coyote, Angelica, of course, FSU. Congratulations, right? They finally get into an ACC championship game, and that's been some time coming. Of course, Crystal Caramel Corn comes into the house, and she
Brad
gets
Harris
her mod.
will take care of the chat.
And Brad Harris is going to take care of the
Brad?
chat. Let's keep going down. Of course, we mentioned Twiz, and Lady Libra got her mod as well. I got a couple more that are lined up as we go, and the next one's going to be the 750.
A lot of blue.
Yeah, Mike Aldan. Yeah, it's starting to look like your chat, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's starting
right.
to look like your chat. But I always want to, welcome people in like Raymond Solis. I really appreciate you joining the channel and coming through. JoJo, of course, gets to actually hit it and get into the chat. Sometimes she misses it, but we appreciate you watching the replay. Of course, Glimmerman,
exactly.
Roland's review. Man, it's a
Hamid.
list. It's a nice list, and of course
Hamid is in the house.
the resident,
Mr. Eagle himself.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Resident. I'm gonna poop on your parade, kind of guy.
Yeah,
so
he's
I love
pooping
it.
on our parade tonight, people. He's gonna poop on our parade.
So talking about any kind of parades, about any kind of victories, you have to start. Of course, with the coaching staff, I think on both sides. Before I start going into, of course, offense, defense, special teams, let's talk about the coaching staff. I think that's something that we don't really talk about on a week-to-week basis. But when you come against these two, teams, they have a coaching staff that needs to be talked about, needs to be mentioned. Any particular way you would like to start in that?
Well, listen, I want to be on the nice side and say that the Eagles have been on a roll. The Eagles have been on a roll the last 2 years.
Mark Hudson.
They have rattled
That's my
off
other guy.
and a very impressive. Jalen Hurts has rattled off a very impressive win record in the regular season. Now, I mean, this past year he had some playoff success. He won 2 playoff games, as you know. You got the bye, but they are
EJB.
on a tear as far as winning in the regular season.
Bobby
this
Murphy.
This year they're coming back from double digits down, so they're not playing great wire to wire. But ultimately, they're getting the job done. But I would say Eagles are playing with the record on their side, and they're playing with home crowd. They're playing with a lot better offensive line. What they're not playing with is a coach with like Mike McCarthy, who has already been embarrassed once. And we're going to break it down more. I expect this team to be on edge from The kickoff tomorrow. The owner has said this is like a playoff game. No laughs, please, in the Bobby Murphy. No laughing, please. I don't know that I like what Jerry Jones is saying is like a playoff game, but the bottom line is there's no excuses. Okay, can we please have it out there before the game? My Eagle people, my Cowboy people. There's no excuses. Are both teams 100%? Hell no. It's well documented, Phil, that we've lost two substantial pieces. Now we may get one back, we may not with Leighton Vander Esch. Regardless, no excuses. That's the last time you're going to hear me bring up anything about injuries. Eagles are not 100%, people. They're not going to have their right guard tomorrow. They've lost pieces in their secondary, in their safety. They went out and got Kevin Byard. Now, he didn't look great last week, but he'll be a lot better this week. That's a given.
Yeah, I think so. There was some
excuses, people.
There were some pundits out there that were trying to give that matchup a little bit more of a cushion. And I mean, he's had Dak's number in the past, but I'm going to jump back to the coaching staff. When I look at Mike McCarthy, you're right. He's already had that point where he's been embarrassed. Let's just really say twice. Where he all of a sudden he's at the star for the whole week and he hasn't gone home, and is he on a hunger strike? I mean, what are we talking here? You got Dan Quinn that I don't know if he's adjusting anything. I just know he kind of Spring comes in there with his big shotgun and just says, this is how it's going to be, right?
I'm going to get to you in a minute, Hamid.
And so when you look at, obviously, the Eagles side, Sirianni, we'll see if he's, how the trash talking is. If they get a lead, how he tends to puff out his chest at some point. But of course, they got the new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, and can't say that there's struggles, but I see that on both sides. When I look at Dak and what he's done in the past 2 weeks, he's expanded Mike McCarthy's offense because of his legs and of course the audibles. So I'm interested to see what the game plan is for both teams. This is a rivalry game, man. We know each other. We've seen each other. We talk crap amongst each other. They actually they go to dinner and they all hang out as a family in the off season. So it's not totally there where. But let's be real. Even with your friends, you want to pop them in the mouth sometimes. You want to beat them in a game of something. It doesn't make it less competitive. It's just not like the old days where you're like, look, man, I'm gonna, we're not friends, So, but when you look at, going forward, of course, the first two people that get brought to any attention is, of course, the quarterbacks, and that is Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. Now, both, if you look from afar, both playing at a really high level, they just both have some areas in their game that need improvement. And Dak, of course, looking pretty good, but that doesn't mean anything when it comes to this type of offense. What I'm going to revert back to, and yes, I'll be the party pooper here, but when I look at this Rams game that we just played, that first series, boom, if there was no flag on that play, that's a 3 and out. And he got sacked 2 out of the 3 times. There was an offensive lag there. You punted away. Now, let's say they have those struggles in the beginning, because that's how Dak and them like to do. If the Eagles could run the ball and actually keep the ball away from Dak, it takes a series or two sometimes to get this offense going. That can be a problem, especially when you play in the time of the possession game. How do you look at these two quarterbacks going into this matchup, and how do you see them performing against these defenses?
Yes, and I will answer that. Hamid, you're saying Jalen Hurts is not on injury report because he's not injured. That's just wrong. Okay, let's just be honest. He walked out of a friggin' a post-practice interview session because they asked him 3 questions about his injury. Did you see him limping around? This is not an excuse. Everybody's injured at this point, for the most part. He's banged up. Why can't we say that? Why can't we be honest and say Jalen Hurts is banged up? Just like Dak Prescott was. Hey, listen, Dak's never going to play a game again not banged up. Some games more banged up than others. Just watch his pregame routine. That's to loosen up the damn leg. But listen, he's banged up. There's nothing wrong with that.
I love weed.
Let's be honest. Yeah. Why are we acting like he's not banged up? Yeah, he is. He's got a bone bruise. Why they're not putting on an injury report, I don't know, and I don't care. I don't bet. So
I don't know some of these coaches, like in the coaching staff, and when they do that whole, I'm not going to put him on. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
I would be like Belichick. I would put 50 names out there, and then you figure it out. That's just me.
Yeah,
he stubbed his toe. Getting back to your question, could you just remind me real quick?
I was talking about Dak and Jalen going into this matchup. How do you feel they're playing in the top of their game, or if they're not playing the top of the game, and then how they will match up with these defenses?
Yeah. Jalen has had to, not by choice necessarily, limit his running, which has actually made him a better quarterback. If anybody knows anything about football, he's now one of the better pocket passers in the league, especially in the pocket that he's provided with that Philadelphia offensive line.
It is.
Come on now, let's be honest. That's what Aikman was looking at back in the day. So that's how good that offensive line is. Now, it's a little banged up. They're not going to have the right guard. We'll see how bad that hurts. But Dak, he still hasn't had that. Last game was good. Don't get me wrong. He had the 4 touchdowns, the 1 interception that
it is a questionable call even if it doesn't get batted, it's just questionable.
Yeah, it is a questionable ball, regardless of what everybody's saying. What up, Gina? How are you?
Gina, I haven't seen you in a while, girl.
Yeah. So
Regina
basically,
Green.
I would say Dak has more to prove than Jalen, even though Dak's record. And they chewed this record up all week in Philly. They chewed it up as well. You really only beat 2 good teams out of the 8. We can't couch it, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. Some years are better than others with injuries. Some years we're going to be more banged. Bottom line is he's very good against you guys. He's very good against the NFC East. So I see Hamid saying, what excuse? If Dak throws 3 interceptions, I'm going to blast his ass. Mm-hmm. That's just me. I'm going to blast him. If we get blown out, I want McCarthy gone because this means something. If it happens once, shame on you. If it happens twice, shame on me. Well, I'm not going a 3rd time. But that's just me, Phil. I don't know. I think there's more pressure on Dallas. Mm-hmm. What says you?
Well, when I look at this, just in the sense of, I thought, you definitely summed it up a lot when you talked about the record that the Eagles hold kind of allows them to kind of feel, play a little bit looser. If we drop this one, we're still in the lead. And, it makes you feel just a little bit looser. You're able to, you don't hesitate. You don't stutter step as much. That could be a factor. Obviously you never know exactly what points are going to actually affect the game. Somebody could have been like, well, somebody didn't tell me they love me in the morning, and then they just drop a pass later in the day. So, you never know what the butterfly effect is going to really be. But one thing that I know is the butterfly effect is going to be on this offensive line play. When you look at the Dallas offensive line, there's a lot of question marks. Let's be real. As much as, we're playing at a high level. No, man, it's just... we're blocking. He's not getting hit all the time, but he definitely has to move his feet. There are some question marks when it comes to guys like Edoga going in there, and of course Tyron Smith. If he just passes gas on the sideline, he could pull something, and then we're out for the rest of the game on him. So, when I look at this offensive line for the Eagles, obviously, they're missing a right guard, but their draft that they had. Definitely replaced them, and I'm not. We all talk about how their draft is not that great, but they do have a pretty good backup in the sense plugging in there. But again, it's just really going to depend. If I look at the Cowboys' defensive line and say, they can get pressured, but I've seen the question marks there at some of the lines that haven't been so great. And and they haven't been able to get pressure on them. So I wonder, what makes this a little bit different. Hopefully, strategy a little bit, who you're sending and from where. So that's where Dan Quinn's going to definitely have to come into play. How do you look at the offensive line for the Cowboys holding up? Do you see any kind of shuffling around, or do you see Tyron Smith actually playing?
Yeah, well, Tyron Smith's going to be a game time decision, but Chuma Edoga is ready to go just in case Tyron starts and plays 3 snaps and then is out for the game. My guess is they'll probably keep Asim Richards also active. That would be my guess. look for Igbenogany and Jalen Brooks to be inactive again. But yeah, I think that Dak Prescott has gotten the ball out quick. If Dallas gets out to a lead, I'm not saying that means they're going to win the game, but if they can score first and get up 7 points, that will help them. Dallas's defense plays better, obviously, with a lead, like most teams, but especially when we make you one-dimensional. Now, we're literally going up against a team who rushes the ball second most in the NFL, which is the Eagles. They are a rush-first team.
And that's how you take control of the game. I agree, man. That's their biggest thing. If they could stick to that, they could do some damage, you know?
Yeah, what up, Coles Cowboy? How you doing,
Sorry
man?
to jump in there. You just hit a great point there, though. It's just,
you know what I mean. That's what I think that the key is for me. Our offense is going to help our defense, and which is not rocket science, but for our defense,
is that
especially.
true, Glimmerman? I didn't know that.
What happened?
Glimmerman saying Tyrone has been held out for this game. Is that true?
I don't think so. I don't know that that's true. No Tyron again. He is limited player the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I heard. Well, whatever then.
I'm gonna look it up. You continue.
It is what it is. What I'm more afraid of, people, and this goes out to Philly D and Philadelphia, Bobby Murphy, Hamid. Well, Hamid not so much. Just playing. I'm more worried about the officials.
Cold Cowboys,
going
nuts.
Going
on, man? Okay.
Don't you guys want to see a game?
I want to see a game.
I think ultimately the game, just let the players play. Let them play, man. Do not. And I'm a little concerned because I looked up the. I'll break it down at some point if you want, Phil. But just real quick, Trey Blake, he's the head referee tomorrow. Blake is in his second season as a head referee and fourth total season. But just a couple highlights about him. One common theme for Blake is that he tends to call things close to the vest on defense, which is not normally good for us Cowboys.
No.
Especially on passing plays. His crew leads the league in both pass interference and holding penalties against the defense. The Cowboys have only been called for pass interference 4 times this year, while the Eagles have had 5 such penalties. Blake balances it out, but I don't want to bore you guys. But, just let them play.
Yep.
Please let them play. There's going to be some tugging on both sides. Let Slay do what he always does. I don't care. Just let them play on both sides, please. I don't want to see third down, Dallas gets the stop, and there's some ticky-tack bullshit 30 yards down the field, or vice versa. I don't want to see that against the Eagles because that just brings in the officials, like the officials on your back pocket.
Yeah.
No, please. Let me get 4 or 5 penalties each team tops, and I'll be happy. That's not eliminating penalties, but let's just leave it at that.
So,
I'm going to cook. Of course you think that, Hamid.
Now, I have to go to the next level. We're going to continue on this offense. We talked about the line stuff. Now, let's go to the next section because both teams have a really good squad. And when it comes to this, the tight ends, of course, the tight ends, Jake Ferguson, Dak Prescott, finally at the point where they're seeing the defense before the ball is snapped to where they're on the same page. That's what you want in your tight end. And that's a really good connection. Now, of course, Jake has to show me more than just one pass that he caught and everything. I want to see consistently that you're catching those passes. Because when I look at your pass that you caught last week, one hand you brought it in and then got it touchdown. Oh, I loved it on the fingertips. But then I think back to the other 2 that you also dropped. So you got to even this thing out and bring up your average. When we look at behind it, Schoonmaker, there's some guys poking at us in the sense that our draft hasn't really stepped up this year.
It hasn't.
And they are very true. But again, with those positions and people in front of them, I'm hoping that this is more of a 2 or 3 year thing for these guys. But when you look at the Eagles, of course, they got Dallas Goedert. I mean, a guy that, let's be real, their family was Dallas fans. They named him Dallas. They were really trying to push him a certain way.
In the paper, He came out with a quote. Says,
oh, of course, he come out with everything.
He's a Philly guy.
Yeah,
he's a Philly
that's
guy.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. Of course he is, and he's got to the culture
star now,
and it should. If you are ingrained into an offense the way that he has been,
it ain't another game.
it
Philly
should.
D, stop it.
And
you're trying to say it's another game. Give me a break. Just look just turn on the news, bro.
It's all different. You wake up different. You eat different. You talk smack differently. It's all different. And this is what rivalry is supposed to be. The fact that when you go to play the Giants, do you have that feeling like, not there. When you have Washington, whatever their names are,
we could possibly lose a game. It's the NFL. Anybody can lose. Just look at some of the games this year. But when I go up against the Giants or Washington, it's like...
Yeah, it just doesn't have that same...
The one thing is, Washington's going to be physical. That I know. Eagles are always physical. But anybody in the chat, any Cowboy fan in the chat, you're lying to yourself if you say Eagles aren't our number one rival. You're lying to us and you're lying to yourself because Eagles are our number one rival. Whether you like it, whether you don't want to give Eagles any credit, they are our number one rival. Bottom line, point and the point.
Thank you,
not
Brad.
the Niners.
That's awesome.
We can't beat the Niners. So okay, maybe back in the early '90s and in early '80s it was a rival. I get it, but we can't beat them. That doesn't mean it's a rival. This here is a rivalry. Your divisional games. So let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Let's
it gets to the point. Gets to the point. Everybody's fighting. It doesn't matter on what side. Hey man, that's what
I was going at it today with the sheriff that was
that was post station.
That was
there?
operating the X-ray the machine to walk into the hospital today. He saw my hat. He goes, you wear the cowboy hat? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, oh, you graduated elementary. Good job. You know what a star is.
Yeah. And then his buddy goes, how about them Cowboys? I'm like, hey,
exactly.
everywhere.
Yeah.
We're all over.
Oh, I get it everywhere. I wear this hat, and I get it from nowhere. Hey, the Cowboys, and I'm like,
but you wear it around here.
That's a whole different story. You get it. Yeah, exactly. It's a little black. I got my matching black eye.
If anybody around Philly knows, how I had to go to the hospital today, I had to go all the way up, almost under the Ben Franklin, and it come in the other way. So I came through Camden and was, looking around a little bit, looking like, all right, keep them going, keep it going. But my wife's used to going there as a nurse. She goes, just until recently, she would go out to Camden all the time. So there's some nice parsers, just like any city. But yeah.
So let's move on to the next one. The next section.
Mark Holmes,
hold on.
Get your meat.
Go ahead. Big weekend for the Cowboys. Yeah, look at Mark over there. Getting ready for his, whether he's returning. I haven't heard. Is he returning?
Yeah, he's back.
He's back.
If I see Zeke with a half shirt, I'm not gonna let it go.
Yeah, when I look at this, I go to the next squad and I'm, I can be impressed by both squads on this one. The wide receiver core. Definitely a different thing. Each one has a true number one that can do some damage if you don't, double team or triple team them, or have a guy that knows how to play him on the sidelines, or, let's be real. When you got, the support, there's guys there that can do damage if given the opportunity and space. And I looked at both of those sides the same way. I mean, Gallup loves to do the toe, and he's notorious for getting those sideline catches on them. But Devontae Smith, that's a guy that can really burn you if he gets into some space. And this defense sometimes allows all of a sudden something to happen. But I'm liking the matchup that we have going in. But how do you see these wide receivers on both sides attacking these corners?
Listen, as much as I started a little mini, just a mini fire last week. Well, I'm always going to have CD. CD's young. CD is at a different stage than AJ Brown. CD literally just realized or just came to the forefront as a number one receiver literally a year ago.
Yep.
Remember he had the Giant game where he dropped
it. Dude, I know exactly when it happened. It felt
then he the next game he was a different guy. He has not looked back. And I always say I'll take CD over AJ Brown. I'm just here to tell you right now, AJ Brown is playing arguably as the best receiver in the league.
Taki,
I haven't seen a guy catch it with one hand like A.J. Brown. And I'm not kissing ass because I love CD, and I'll still take CD.
Here's the thing.
The way A.J. is catching the ball,
okay,
I can't overlook that.
Captain Taki says, I don't know if Bryan and Phil have the killer mentality for some of these round tables. No offense, fellas. Here's the thing, like we're trying to we're telling Captain Taki, we're trying to talk about the game in general. We're talking about the game in general. But trust me, if we want to attack, we can definitely turn it up. You watch it on the Thursday nights.
More comes about me attacking.
Yeah, like,
me and him go at it.
So no, I totally get why we're saying, but we're breaking down the game. I mean, it'd be to say that the other team doesn't have the weapons that they do. You're being blind to it, or you're just trying to turn the eye. But that doesn't mean we can't whoop them. I mean, we know how football can be. But we're trying to just definitely break down what each team has, and I could go through the line and just tear every single person up, and I could also do that for the Cowboys. Let's be real,
Yeah, well, don't you think people, in any sport, I don't know, I don't care if you played sports or not. But if you did play sports, you have. Number one, you have to, in order to beat somebody's ass, excuse my language if that offends anybody, but you have to respect their ass first. In order to beat their ass, you have to respect their ass. And we always respect the Eagles. Don't get me wrong. I can't stand your head coach. I don't like his bravado, that false bravado. Hey, listen, look at Tom Landry. Look at, Chuck Noll. Look at some of the great coaches that were quiet as a church mouse on the sideline. Now, I don't care that but to have the chesty attitude, Nick Sirianni, you're not playing the game. You weren't good enough to play at the NFL level, and that's fine. But, I'm not a fan of your coach.
Yeah.
Okay? I just don't like him. Yeah. Do I like McCarthy? I'm not overly thrilled with McCarthy either, but for different reasons. You don't have to be a jackass to be a head coach. That's all. Did I like Buddy Ryan? No, I couldn't stand him because he was a jackass. Now, I know that's going to piss off some Eagle guys. You didn't have a lot of playoff success under Buddy. You would be the first one to attest with that unbelievable defense, that stupid 46 that you played. You just gave up too many big plays, but I don't like your coach, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I can't stand Nick Sirianni, okay? Yeah. I can't. So I know somewhere under his starter jacket I just
get the urge
F Dallas or
being a nice person is like I just get this urge to punch him in the face. Like it's one of those type of things. It's just I see him on that.
And I'm not saying I love McCarthy.
That's how rivalry
I'm
should be.
I'm just keeping it real. I don't like your coach. I think he's a jackass. That's all.
But when let's go back to these offenses.
So now, what do you think, Captain Zaki?
No. We can be pretty rough. But what we're trying to do now, I want to move to the defensive side of the ball on both. You got to start. I think both sides have a defensive line. They've definitely put some stock into it, whether it comes to draft, whether it comes to free agency, whether it's re-signings. But both sides have a defensive line that can do some damage in different ways. But still, I mean, they are amazing to watch because they can make the secondary a little bit better when they're not doing so great, putting pressure on the quarterback, causing interceptions, turnovers. How do you see this defensive line? Do you see any of the sides? Because when I look at it, as much as I think that defense can get some pressure on Dak, I see both sides having issues here.
We're not going to be able to run the ball early tomorrow. So I'm going to just let you guys know. We're not going to be able to run the ball, So we're going to have to do what we did this past game because we really weren't able to run the ball early. You're going to have to pass like the West Coast type offense. You have to get the ball out of your hand. You got to get Dak moving. Got to move the pocket. And you got to get hit these, these receivers, running backs on the move. We're not going to be able to run the ball early. The key is, are we going to be able to slow down the Eagles' running game? Now, their running game hasn't been great as of late. And that rhymes, but that wasn't planned.
And I'm liking how this defense has been playing the run a lot better. Yeah. We have been changing that up. I'm not saying the problems are gone, but it's definitely improved a lot. I mean, you got people, with the responsibilities that they're taking.
Right.
And so maybe that's where the pressure hasn't totally been there, because they've been kind of giving that up to take that on.
Here's the deal,
Coyote,
you
I
said
know.
we have 0 running games. That's just a
How's that?
blatant lie. The
Yeah, that's
numbers
not true.
don't say that we have a 0 running game. So again, look at the numbers before
That's the
you
truth.
open your pie hole.
Lady Libra, we
Yeah,
don't
we
have a
have a
power
running
back.
game.
We
Is
don't
it-
have a power back. That's the problem.
We don't have a power back.
Yeah.
We're a little bit. We're still trying to find our way, and Twiz will attest to what I'm saying. Now he says I'm going to use it as an excuse. This is before the season. We're still trying to figure out what the frig a Texas coast is. What I do know is they finally implemented some movement in the offense with the receivers, getting the defense going a little bit east and west, and stop attacking Dak Prescott. That's about as much as I could tell you. Hassan Reddick is going to be a problem tomorrow. He actually has 7 sacks to Micah Parsons' 6 sacks. So now, listen, we all know
Not the same.
we don't have the line that the Eagles have. So, everybody on earth would agree that Michael Parsons at least gets double teams. Well, Reddick doesn't usually get double teams. And if he does, it happens. But then it's hard to double team a guy when you got Carter and you got Davis and you got Cox and you got Sweat.
I think it's going to have to come when you look at this defense. It's going to have to come from the secondary. We have the secondaries
Jeff
to
Lee?
cover these receivers. They don't believe it, and I look at it. I look at Curse obviously on Dallas Goedert. And whatever happens there, that's the safety is there. Everybody can say what they want about Bell and he's small and everything, but that guy is balling. He's seeing that he's getting into the lanes.
Sweat.
And so that's been amazing.
Jobo stinks and Brandon Graham's old. So
And then
keep throwing the names out there, Hamid. I'll shoot them down. Bam! Anyway, good.
So when I look at it, obviously I'm not putting a guy like Gilmore on A.J. Brown. I mean, if I'm doing that, it's more of the veteran knowledge thing because you're not worried about him going across the middle. I wouldn't put Gilmore on Smith. That's the one person I wouldn't do that because if he starts dragging across, Gilmore gets lost out there. He just doesn't keep up. But when you can put him on a guy like A.J. Brown, I think that unfortunately that is more of the matchup. Bland. Man, that guy, I would put him on Smith as well because usually Diggs is the guy that takes him away. But Bland has been doing amazing. He can move. I mean, when he trails, it's not usually by much. So I definitely see us matching up very well, and I think the key is going to obviously be the safety play. What's Wilson doing? Is there a Wanye Thomas type of situation? I would bring and activate Wanye for this type of game. You need guys that are going to make the difference, and never know that 1 or 2 possessions that you may gain. Because when you look at the takeaways for these defenses,
Cameron?
Dallas's offense is doing a really good job, and of course, I'm not going with everything of not turning the ball over. And you saw one last week with questionable stuff, but that has not been the same thing for the Jalen Hurts side of football. Let's be real.
Good call, Brad. He's hitting the coke. He's doing a bump.
And so when you look at the Jalen Hurts interceptions and everything, do you see that? Do you see this defense being able to capitalize on that type of stuff?
That's what I'm curious to see. And you talked about defense. How would you want to play them? This is what I want to see. Okay, what I do not want to see, is Micah Parsons lined up over Lane Johnson. I do not want to see that. Now, I'm not saying every now and again. I want to be creative, people. I want to put Micah over your center. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I want to
That's what I
put
would
Micah over Jason Kelsey because that's a good matchup for the Cowboys. All right, that's what I want to see. I want to see Jalen Hurts be off the spot because he has turned into a deadly pocket passer. I would say Jalen Hurts throws one of the best long balls in the game. Arguably the best. But if you get him off the spot, like any quarterback, the problem is, and this is where I think we have an advantage, all my Cowboys people, the advantage is the Eagles have not been tested or put under any real sort of adversity. Now, every game, they haven't played great in almost every game.
But the other team is played worse in the sense, too.
I would say
I look back
I would say that Tampa, Okay, that was probably your best overall game, and Miami was close for a while. You were going up against some third and fourth corners, but hell of a win, like I stated. They haven't faced adversity. I've been in the stadium. If Dallas gets up 10 points, they're gonna, start hearing it, and they start doing some 3-and-outs. I'm curious I would like to see the Eagles be put in that position. Now, as you see,
That's
Hurts
funny.
has been able to come back by double-digit deficits. He's
no,
already
Twiz.
done it. So it's not like if we're up 10 points, it's over. No, it's not. Like I told Mark earlier, it's a little copizzleism.
Gotta get there.
We need to play for 60 minutes. We need to be 60-minute men tomorrow.
And I think
we need to get to Hurts and knock his ass in the dirt early. Make him think.
I think there's a lot of whether the offense is moving, things. I'm trying to push this together, but Glimmerman really kind of sums it up. Even with the offense, if the offenses are kind of like dueling it out, and the defenses are, or they're dueling it out in the sense of the shutout. This is where it could change the game, and Glimmerman kind of sums it up here. Says, "Don't forget we have a special teams. We can make plays there too." When you got a guy like Bones Fossil, or last week, there was a punt block. There's two great returns by Turpin. That is a guy that can change the field. All of a sudden, they get a deep one. He can change where you are and change the location of everything that's happening on that field. And with that just brings a whole other level. And I haven't seen it with the Eagles side. That doesn't mean that it's not capable of doing it, but that is definitely something that Dallas has in their weapons. And do you see special teams getting involved?
Well, I would say we have the special teams edge. I would at least hope that my Eagles faithful in the chat here would agree. We have a slight. I think our return game is better. We have the best kicker in the league. Now that doesn't mean squat necessarily tomorrow, but I'm more not so much the field goal kicking, but I think Turpin is the better returner. I think we're more scary on the kick returns. I just think that's a fact. Please, Hamid, I'm curious to see what you think about that. Do we have any area that we could be on the field with you guys, or we just stink across the board? I think we're the better obvious special team.
And here's the thing:
we put a lot of pressure on the punter. We've blocked punts. We've blocked field goal kicks. We've had multiple returns for touchdown. Both of them have been called back
David
on
Cowboy.
penalties on the other side of the friggin' field. We've had some great returns down into the what?
Thank you, Rhonda.
What's up, Rhonda? How are you?
What's up, Dallas Cowboys? Is that Dallas Cowboys? Yeah, and so when I look at the overall, now you talk about coaches, you talk about offense, you're talking about different defensive sides. We're talking. I didn't get jumped too much into the linebacker position, but I kind of have to really spread that on amongst the defensive line and the secondary, because I don't think either side, when it comes to the linebacker plays, has been amazing. Let's be real. That's probably the lacking part of both defenses.
I would say coming into this year, we had a decided advantage, and they hadn't showed as much as I would have liked.
Yeah, our best linebackers are safeties.
And I did see, I don't know who it was that brought up Rashad Evans. That's I don't know what to expect, man.
Yeah.
I'd be lying. This is my main fear. I love Marquise Bell. I love Wanye Thomas. I love these guys, but are they going to be able to hold up and playing linebacker? Marquise Bell was graded out by Pro Football Focus as the number one linebacker in the league this year. Yeah. I repeat, that's not me. And
when you look at his play, you can see it. He's avoiding he's avoiding blocks. He's seeing it
like no other.
Yeah, and he's getting to the ball. Yes.
But he don't hit like a lightweight.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah, because that could change all of a sudden.
I'm a little worried about stopping the run on the consistent tomorrow. That's all. If we do, you're in trouble, Philly. You're in trouble. I think you know that.
Yeah,
if we stop your run, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and that's what I say. It's like, both sides have a game plan that can work and beat the other team. And you play to your strengths. And some people just, when you look at the Cowboys side, I look at the Cowboys side more.
I agree, Bobby.
You get the victory is if you just stay out of your own way. Just play football, quit overthinking it. Just go out there and play the next play. And I think, and I talked about it this last week when we were talking about Washington before the game even happened. We said Washington was going to most likely be in this game, probably a lead by halftime, but then eventually the talent will come through, and that's what overpowers at the end. That's what I look at in this game. This is a game where, both, if you look at all the little things, this battle here and then this battle here. Well, how's the offensive line going to hold up against the defensive line? When you look at Dak and playing against them, he plays very, very well. This is not something that he plays one of his worst games at. He usually brings himself up to the competition there. So I expect this game to be a good battle. I want to see both of them just pop each other in the mouth. I just really want to see some football. I think that's the best way to explain it.
Hey, Hamid. Yawn, Eagles not scared at all. Listen, hey, Hamid, and this has nothing to do about tomorrow necessarily, but do you know the one player who's not scared for the Dallas Cowboys? That would be one Dak Prescott, whether you call him Trash Scott, call him every name in the book. My man plays good against you guys, as well as the rest of the NFC East teams. Now, I understand that it's a team game. I understand that if you don't give Jalen Hurts time to throw, he ain't going to look so good. I understand that. But I also know it's all about the quarterback. Chicks dig the long ball. It's all about, Joe Burrow looking good. What outfit is he going to have? It's about the trenches, people. And right now, you have the better offensive line. That's why the key is not Dak. It's not Hurts. Is Dallas's defense going to be able to get to Jalen? If they don't, we lose. If they do, we win. It's that easy. But I would like to break down some numbers for you.
Go ahead, let's do it. Let's do this.
Phil.
Let's do this.
All right, team stats. This is team stats, all right? Points scored. Dallas has 28.1. Eagles have 28. Okay? You would think that the Eagles' record that they're just have way better scoring. That's incorrect. Passing yards per game. Dak Prescott, 221. And Jalen Hurts, 255. That is advantage, 30 yards to the Eagles. The opposing points per game. I think this is the biggest stat. The Eagles have given up 21.5 points per game. So they give up 3 touchdowns every time they play the game. Dallas gives up 17.1. Okay? But listen, we don't give up a lot of points. So even with the damn blowout in San Fran and the 26 points we gave up to Arizona. Even saying that, we're still only averaging 17 points. So opposing passing yards allowed. Another big stat. This goes to why I say, Phil, we need to pass the ball all day tomorrow. Eagles can't stop it. You could say what you want. Big play Slay is no longer a big play, at least not this year. And James Bradbury got his semi-big deal. Ain't playing that great. Eagles give up 247 yards average passing a game. You know how much Dallas gives up? Without, mind you, Diggs, who was lost in week 2? Week 3? 178 yards. That's what Dallas averages, gives up. So, this is the last big stat in the Eagles' favor. The one big stat that the Eagles have, which is what I'm worried about, that's why I say we have to throw the ball against you guys, but we have to stop your run. Opposing rushing yards allowed. It's not as bad as I thought. Dallas gives up 108 yards a game. The Eagles, they give up 65 yards a game. Clear advantage to the Birds there. And there lies Hamid. There lies who's going to win the game. Are you going to be able to throw the ball against the Eagles? Are you going to be able to stop the run against the are you going to be able to stop the Eagles' run, and are the Eagles going to be able to stop Dallas's pass? That's what it's going to come down to. Your thoughts, Phil? I mean, what do you think about those numbers? Are you surprised or
No.
not surprised?
Not surprised at all. I mean, that's what you see in the play of each team. Now, again, what's surprising is that it's as good because Dak and them have just really, to me, gotten going in the past 2 games. Even when you look at those other games and you scored as many points as you did, I still see the struggles that were happening there.
3 of those games, Phil, were like, okay, our defense went off so much. We were just in a
coasting.
We're playing with a huge league.
Let's just run the ball.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And Mike McCarthy's type of running the ball. Let's run it up the middle. It just never made any sense.
I would agree in a month from now, but it's going to be almost 70 here tomorrow. It's going to be beautiful football weather. You don't have to run the ball anymore. In the cold, I agree, though. When we go to Buffalo, we're screwed. But anyway, sorry, Phil.
So, no, you're good. Do you want to, before we kind of give our predictions about this game, do you want to go through the rest of the NFL?
I don't know if they want that or not. Do you guys want us to break down all the games? We will. I don't want to bore people. This is all about the Eagles Cowboys, but I will definitely go through the other games if you guys want. Let me just real quick. Let me throw out some team leader stuff. I'm going to give Jalen Hurts some props here. As of right now, his passing yards, he's got 2140 for the year. Dak has got 1637. So he's Jalen's 500 yards ahead of Dak right now. Jalen has more interceptions, but it is,
What's the attempts?
Me personally,
I'm curious. What's the attempts?
I'm not overly concerned with that.
What's the attempts?
I don't have that. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't have that right in front of me, but yeah.
I'm just curious.
DeAndre Swift has got 571 rushing yards. Tony Pollard 423, which I thought it would be worse.
Yeah,
because Pollard is really not
doesn't
even
seem like
guy. Yeah.
Well, that and the fact that it just there's been some runs there, but nothing with all that stuff that Mike McCarthy's been doing with the running him up the middle. I almost feel that flash in front of my face before I think of those bigger plays.
Jalen Hurts has 19 total touchdowns. Dak has 11. So, it's definitely an edge for Jalen this year. This is a surprising, but it's never good. When your safety leads your team in tackles, that's not a good sign. Reed Blankenship leads the Eagles with 46 tackles. So that means that's not really good.
Yeah, getting back there. They're getting into
Damone
that
Clark has 43 for the Cowboys. Micah has 6 sacks. Reddick has 7. Jake Elliott has 76 total kicking points. Aubrey
that's true too.
Has 71. But Aubrey has been named the Special Teams Player of the Month. He hasn't missed a field goal. He's number 1 in the league in field goals.
Tim points out the fact that and it only makes a little bit of a difference, but he points out that Hurts has played one more game than Dak as well.
Yeah, and that's fine. True. And I'm only just as it sits here now. I'll do this again when the Eagles come into Dallas later in the year and we give them a big old L. But no. We'll cross that one. But I'm not going to break down every little stat. That was just some of the stats that I had found that I thought was kind of interesting. That
is true.
Like Rashaan Evans, I'm curious to see what he's going to do.
Philly D goes, he points it out to Coyote, but he goes, I haven't seen you move the ball when you're down. And which is true. The 2 games that we have been really down is, just the offense haven't been. But that's what I'm saying, that the offense really hasn't shown itself until the past 2 games. It looked really stagnant, and we didn't really know the identity. Even Lamb was in the locker room all like, I don't know, like he didn't know what it was. How are we attacking? He's been in a certain offense most of his NFL career, and now he's changing it to something else. Everything is confusing. We're not really sure what we're supposed to be doing. And now you can see people, again, I point out the Jake Ferguson, Dak whole situation where they line up, they see the coverage of the safety, and is he going to cover CeeDee Lamb? And if he covers CeeDee Lamb, that means that the tight end's going to be open over the top, and that's exactly what they both saw. And so the fact that you're seeing guys finally getting on the same page, that's amazing. But that's where you're seeing Dak also audible at the line of scrimmage, and that's something he wasn't doing. He's also using his legs. It's also something he wasn't doing. So it feels like this offense has really opened itself up. Now, again, I don't know how it changes if they get behind, and they have to pass and stuff like that. Right. I think the passing obviously is more down. At that point. Yeah, it's more down their alley than if they're running the ball to try to put the game away. I mean, they've struggled to put points on the board when it came to that. But again, those are past the 2 games he just played.
Yeah, well, history shows. I mean, history shows if we're talking about quarterbacks, that Prescott excels versus division rivals. Cowboys quarterback is 28-7. His record, Hamid, is 28-7. I know he's a horrible quarterback, but he's 28-7 against division rivals. That's his divisional record between all the teams. That's pretty damn impressive. Okay, he has the most divisional wins among quarterbacks since 2016, behind Tom Brady, 31, and Mahomes had 29 that same year. Including the playoffs, this is a little fun fact time. Eagles have won 6 games in a row at home, averaging 31.7 points a game in those victories.
That is so true, Mark. Very true. He says, throw the records out. It's a division game. That's the truth, man.
Yeah.
It's just
I agree. But if the Cowboys win in Philly, Coach Mike McCarthy will tie Mike Holmgren with 161 wins for 18th all-time wins list. A Cowboys star, Micah Parsons, and the defense look to get their Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and receiver A.J. Brown, who was the second most receiving yards, 939 in the league. So A.J. is not even leading the league, but he's having a hell of a year.
Yeah, he is.
But very, very... Just one more quick little thing. Brandon Aubrey has made all of his 18 field goals.
Tying an NFL record?
Yeah, he needs one more to set a record, so he'll probably shank the first one in Philly. And the last fun fact is CeeDee Lamb, when targeting CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott has a 131.6 passer rating, the third highest passer rating this season. So, get the ball to CD, baby. Get it to CD.
Yeah, exactly. Like, now when I look at are we going over the games, or we just sticking to Eagle Cowboys? We can do that. We haven't been amazing at the other games.
yeah. We'll just stick to the Eagles Cowboys. The hell with the other games.
Yeah, exactly. So I appreciate everybody's support in this. So I'll go ahead and go before you deliver your
Michael Royster. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. Do you have anything else
you
want
like
to cover?
That?
Yeah,
you like that.
So, and I'm gonna give my prediction here. Here we go. So
better be a friggin'.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Now I can't do that. Remember, I have to go with my gut. If I just choose the other way because I'm choosing it won't work.
We're screwed.
Okay. No, yeah. Exactly. Whatever. I'm a pretty high percentage when it comes to picking these.
I'm joking. He's on it.
So when it comes to this team, I worry about our Cowboys always in the first 2 drives. Yeah, it takes, there's a little it kind of a like a locomotive on a train track, just do, and then it just finally starts getting going, and then you can go. But like that first initial, sometimes they get in their own way, and that's the Cowboys football that I'm afraid of. So when I look at this game, I unfortunately see, the Eagles being able to get up by 2 touchdowns at some point before Dallas even starts doing anything. And but when I look
at be one miserable dude if we're down 2 touchdowns.
When I look at this game, though, I don't think that they can't move the ball. And so at that point, once the 2 touchdowns things, they'll turn it on. All of a sudden, Dallas will tie the game, 14. That's when the Eagles will go for their field goal, 17. They'll believe that thing, and that's when Dallas turns it on. By halftime or whatever like that, they start to turn it on, and then it's a different ball game. And then in the second half, Eagles only get a field goal, which means the final score by the end is the Dallas Cowboys 37, Philadelphia 24. And so I have the Cowboys just running away with it at some point. And that necessarily doesn't always mean blowout to me. When I see that big score, it's just how are they scored. So that's what I have. I have the Dallas Cowboys 37, the Philadelphia Eagles 24.
Man, that's a blowout. If we win 37-24, it's gonna get ugly around here. Oh Lord, I thought you were going the other way.
Yeah, it's
Scaring me.
understandable.
You're scaring
Understandable.
me.
I had to build it up. It's not. I can't just give you
40-21
the
Cowboys.
spoilers.
I've been all over the map here, people. But the bottom line is, I see. Like I said before, we've had that embarrassing win. We've been ridiculed. I really think that if we get blown out tomorrow, we're done. I'm not saying we can't make the playoffs, but I have no confidence if that were to happen. I don't care if we beat the Eagles by 1 point. If we win tomorrow, we are looking strong. Just based on our next 3 opponents, the Eagles are on a bye. I think the Eagles fans would agree. If we win tomorrow, they just allow us not to go to hang around. That's a mistake. You want to win tomorrow if you're Philly. Get 3 games ahead, and just at that point you could gut through that tough stretch you have coming up. If you lose tomorrow, now we are there. Most likely we will have the division by the time you take the field, because we play the Giants next week. So if we win this week, and then we're going to be in first place. So
see, all these scores I can definitely respect in the sense of
I was
how
all
it can
over
go.
the map.
And that's how it is. That's how it could be. Like,
but I'm always ultra sensitive when it comes to the Eagles. But this is I got a weird vibe about this game tomorrow. I just do. I feel like the Eagles. Sure, they could blow us out. I mean, they could get on a roll in that stadium and never look back. I could see that as an option. But I think our team has been hardened through some of the issues that we've dealt with. I just have a lot of faith in our team hanging around. I think Micah has a lot to prove. If Micah shits the bed tomorrow, I'm going to be the first one to call him out. He's only hurting himself
on his podcast.
I might go on his podcast, man. I might slide in there. I'm just saying, I'll slide in his DMs or something. No, but I just really like where we're at. I think that
that'd be awesome.
We've taken a lot of crap, and we've hardly played any games this year. I mean, what are we, 5-2 right now? Is that what we are? What up, Chuck?
5-2. Chuck, what's going on?
Give me money.
Sorry, I ain't got no money. I'm not trying to be funny, but I left it all at home today.
Then pay with your blood.
Thank you. We're gonna go, Bryan.
Thank you so much, Chuck.
He says, Bryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
How
man.
you doing?
I'm honing in. My score has already been made. I've been all over the map, honestly. My always opinion when it comes to Dallas and Eagles, and this goes back to my childhood. I've been to a lot of games where we got our teeth kicked in when I was a kid. Back in 1980, I was in Vet Stadium in the 500 level when Wilbert Montgomery broke my heart. I've been to many games, many good moments too. So I always tend to look at the skies falling. We're gonna get blown out in Philly just because it's
understandable. That's the teams you don't want to.
It's very incredible atmosphere, man. It's when it starts going bad, and I remember back, Phil. Before I go into the mailbox here, shout out to the 53 people in the chat.
Appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was near 60 a few times, so that's why I'm not hurrying. I remember when we were looking at. Remember, it was 1989, 1990. You're playing an Eagles defense that had Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Mike Golick, Clyde Simmons, Andre Waters, Allen, the cornerback. I mean, it was just went on and on and on and on. And we took our lumps, but we had our good moments too. It was a great time for Eagle football back then, and yet we still got some wins. I don't feel that way about this Eagle team. I'm going to go into the box now. This is where it is. I see it coming down to the wire, people.
I could use a blowout. Yeah, Philly D is like, I could use a blowout. Yeah, that's neither team wants that for the other side, though. They don't want to get blown out, but they would love the other way.
Listen. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really could care less about a blowout. I'm beyond the we blew you out, because I know that whether we win or lose this game, now it's more important for us that we win. It's a big game. It's a big game. I'm not trying to downplay it, but it's not the end of the year.
No,
If
for
the Eagles
either
were to
team.
lose this game,
For either team. Let's
If
be
the Eagles were to
real.
lose this game, it's not the end of the year. You just allow us to creep back in the picture. Right now, we're like outside the circle of trust. Right now, we're like hovering outside the family circle, and we're trying. But if we win the game, all of a sudden we're coming to Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, we're there now. Well, you have to deal with us. So,
Well, and I think
I
that'll
see
go
this
for both
game.
sides. Like even when I see this, whatever happens in this game, that doesn't mean anything for the next game. Like the next game's going to be a totally different atmosphere, totally different game. Like yes, so
I think if the Eagles win this game, it really, really, really helps their cause to win the division. Going into that tough stretch where you can go 500 and still be good.
Still be good. Yep.
You know, and now the pressure comes on the Cowboys to have to win that game at AT&T in December. If we win tomorrow,
that's a good question.
Now we're talking about sweeping whoever wins this game has a good chance to sweep. That's basically how. If the Eagles win tomorrow, I think they're going to be flying high probably by the time they come to AT&T. They could potentially sweep, but if we win, I think we can sweep. Either way, I think it's a close game. I do like Phil. It's weird. I think that the game, I think Dallas may be down by a touchdown early. I think Eagles make that first drive or something. I'm not going to be happy. I think there's going to be a couple lead changes, and I think it's going to come down to special teams. The line right now, it started out at 3, dropped down to 2.5 for most of the week. Then it creeped back up to 3. I don't know. But the over-under is 47. Now, there's going to be beautiful weather here. The unders have been hitting at an alarming rate, but the home, there's a lot of points scored. I think the over is definitely in order. Listen, man, I'm sorry to say, Eagles, I think the Cowboys pull this one out at the end. I think Brandon Aubrey, the kicker, he sets the NFL record. I think he ends up getting 2 field goals in the game. I think we win, man. I think the final score, Cowboys 27, Eagles 24. I think it's a close game, maybe even overtime. The type of situation, I think we win by a field goal. That's just what I think.
And that's how I see this. I mean, I don't
think it's
a
blowout, people.
I feel like this is like Doctor Strange, and he's sitting there like I could see so many outcomes in so many different directions with these type of games. So it just you got to play the game to see what's going to happen
I just don't
and
think
who
it's
balls.
a blowout. I'll be surprised if we get blown out again. That's what I was telling you, Phil, about. We've been through that. The Eagles haven't been kicked in the teeth yet. That doesn't mean your season's over. That just means you go into your bye.
Dude, we got
you
kicked in the teeth
you
by
come out
San Francisco.
They haven't really had that. Oh my God! And where the media is coming at you. If the Eagles lose this game,
man, the first intuition is before
it's questions.
Let's be real. The first intuition that he had was the Eagles because it was the beginning of the season. We hadn't played a single game. We haven't played a single game yet. So yeah.
But
it's
pretty.
Dallas sucks.
Listen, the bottom line is this is why we watch NFL. You can sit here and say Hamid can run his mouth about how he hates and his team's great. I could say whatever I want to say. Bottom line is they got to go play tomorrow, and Dak Prescott, has to go out and try and beat the Eagles yet again. Jalen Hurts has to shut up the narrative that Dak Prescott. Now we know it's a team game, but people don't care about that. They don't want to hear, well, it's a team game. They want to say, oh, Dak Prescott sucks. Jalen Hurts is great. A.J. Brown's great. CeeDee Lamb chokes. Whatever. That's what they want to do. But I'm going to look forward to the game.
Oh, yes.
Let's just hope it's close. I hear Eagles fans say they want a blowout. Okay. I mean,
who doesn't, man, right? Who
I
doesn't?
wouldn't mind having a close game. It wouldn't bother me to have a close game. I know the Eagles are good. You may not give the Cowboys any credit. I know you guys are good. So I have to go with that. Just give me I think a field goal game hurts worse. I don't know. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, where you feel like you could close.
I think a field goal.
That's when
game.
That's when you're picking. That's when they're picking. Oh well, this particular play, if that hadn't happened, that's where you start getting those. You get a lot of those calls when this referee should have
walk.
called this, and when they're the only field goal type of game. So, yeah, why wouldn't it be that way, man? Let's add some more fuel to this damn fire. That's the way I look at it, man. It's just is there a narrative to add some flamage? Yes, I definitely agree because yeah, it's so bad. Pause. But
I will say this though.
yeah,
If we
Cowboys
lose,
don't play Clay Scoop.
if we lose,
Coyote.
I'm questioning Mike McCarthy because that means, we've lost to the good team. If we can't beat the Eagles tomorrow, Eagles are 7-1 and they have great facets of their team, but they're not playing the bat. I mean, they're not. To me, they're not playing unbelievably. They're just winning. That's all it takes, right? Just win, baby.
Just win.
If we get blown out tomorrow, I think he needs to lose his job because there's no.
Well, I mean,
reason to
because
beat them.
they haven't been blowing out anybody, so it's just
Right.
like
Exactly.
So if you
we
do,
get blown out,
yeah, that'd be crazy.
Doc,
but
I like it.
but
I like it. Cold.
But yeah, so Brian, are we? We're planning right now to kind of go
Yeah, we're
and do a
definitely
broadcast.
streaming tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna be streaming
Phil's
tomorrow.
telling me to stream while he streams, and we'll hook up. You'll be able to see. I'm not. We'll have to figure it out. But yeah, we'll be streaming tomorrow. Whether we probably stream at 1 o'clock. I gotta go to the hospital bright and early. We're gonna get home early. I gotta just take my guy a couple things, visit for an hour or so, and get back to the man cave and get ready for the games. Tomorrow's a slate of games. If you want, I'll run down. Now we don't have to go over the games, but
True,
just
Coyote.
run down
Very
some of
true.
the highlight of the games. We do have 50-some people in here. Let's
do it.
let them get their money's worth here. Let's look at the schedule. Well, no, let me go to the odds. Let's do that, and I'll be able to see the schedule that way.
I got to point out Coyote here. He says, in
Week
fairness,
9.
the Eagles have looked a little bit better in some areas. Cowboys are a blowout and have been blown out as well kind of team right now, and that's the truth. And that's where they're hoping they get their first one of the year. I can't say that. I can't remember exactly all their scores, but I don't remember them blowing out exactly anybody. So. Yeah, I mean, we have potential to do both. I mean, when we've lost, it's been in pretty crazy fashion, and when we've won, it's been pretty impressive as well, too. So I like the ratio. I do like the ratio of what it's been going. I had them at this record, of course, losing and winning it to different people, but
Right.
but I definitely had them at this record. And
I'm a game behind where I thought we would be. So right now, I got us finishing with 12. I had started out with 12, then post preseason I went to 13, and then we decided to lose in Arizona and
You're like,
back
"Yeah."
to 12 again. I should have just stuck on my first opinion, but just breaking down some of the highlights. We got some good games. Don't forget, people, we turn the clocks back tonight. Fall back,
Gain
so
an hour.
we gain an hour. So 9:30 tomorrow
I
morning.
thought we were
there in
done with this. I
Frankfurt,
really thought we
Germany.
were done with this.
What's that?
Oh man, that's right. It's a Germany game, huh?
Yeah, 9:30 tomorrow morning. That's why I said you got Kansas City is the home
Caramel
game in Germany
corn.
against
She's like, I already
Miami,
turned
which
mine's
is
back.
actually a good game. That's a good game. So you got Miami, Kansas City at 9:30. You can drink your coffee. I'll be at the hospital, but I'll be back at some point. Another good game, real quick. I'm not gonna, like I said, we're not going to break it down and pick a prediction. Seattle at the Ravens. That's a good game.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I would
that's
agree.
a real good game. I'm gonna go down.
I thought we voted.
crap.
I thought we voted for this to not be a thing anymore.
What's that?
The time change thing. Like,
Oh yeah.
I swear, it's just like they need to get all the states in the same
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And
That's
I thought we
stupid.
already
I
got.
think
I thought we
I
already
hate
got
it,
Ah,
but whatever. Obviously, the game of the week is a Cowboys at the Eagles at 4:25. I like the 4:25 game. I have a lot of people saying it should be flexed.
no, I like that.
Please, no.
I like that. I
No,
want
give me
that.
the
I like-
4:25.
Yeah.
Another good game at Sunday night. Buffalo at Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati rolls. Cincinnati owes them one.
Cincinnati did pull a pretty good one away from
Yes, they
49ers.
did.
So
Yep. So that's the highlight. Then there's a crappy Monday night game with Chargers at the Jets. But
I'm already
the
bored.
Sunday night game is awesome at Buffalo, Cincinnati. You got our game, the game of the week, and then the 1 o'clock. There's a couple games. Like I said, you got Seattle at Baltimore, and I I guess the Giants are off this week. Yeah, I guess the Giants are off this week, right? Oh no, Giants are at the Raiders. Who cares? Washington's at New England.
I think
Whatever.
Giants might win a game then. Woo.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so looking forward to the game. I hope everybody enjoys the game, whether you're rooting for the Cowboys or the Eagles. I hope.
Yeah, man. I just want it to be a really good game where the reps are out of the
both
way.
teams come out healthy, because ultimately I think these two teams are. I think when it's all said and done, barring major injury, I think these are going to be in the top 3 teams. Obviously, Niners, they're on a free fall right now. They've lost 3 in a row. You can't tell me that they're not worried. They've lost 3 in a row, people. You don't lose 3 in a row unless you got more problems than you just can't say because Debo's hurt.
Yeah.
You lost 3 in a row with your quarterback looking like
ass.
I'll be nice. Yeah, he's looking like crap.
Yeah.
All right. So, but I called that early in the season. He got out to a hot start, but he's starting to come back to earth. But anyway, that's it for me. I'm ready for the game. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to me and Primetime. We're probably going to both stream together on both of our channels and meet up in the middle.
Just be like, hey, I suggest yours, you suggest mine.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Yeah. We'll figure that out. He seems to know how to do it, so we'll go with that.
I claim to.
it.
I claim to. But I one thing I can claim is that we have an amazing chat. Whether you root for either side,
we were
definitely
killing
have
it tonight.
Definitely have. I like the 8:00 time. I think I definitely like the 8:00 time. So when you look at it, be confident. Even if it doesn't go your way as your teams and stuff like that, definitely still have that confidence that we've seen these teams really battle, and they're going to battle each other. This is not the last time they're going to meet. This could even be after the second time. Could it be a third time as well? The way that these teams are playing. So let's get this first battle out of the way, and let's see who's talking and with their chest a little bit puffed out. But the next time that we
Elena,
come through here, right? And But Brian, do you want to say anything to the chat before we get out of here?
How you doing, my man? Go Cowboys! I hope you're. I hope that.
Brian's Pepto bottle. Love that!
Yeah,
I
he's
love
back
that.
in the house, man.
Draven.
He's not a mod on this channel. You got to earn it, my man. But yeah.
Oh man.
But anyway, listen. I just want you guys to know this one thing. I will keep it real. Oh, there it is. Hey, yeah, I need that. I need that drop. I want to play that when we're getting our ass kicked. Hopefully not tomorrow.
Yeah.
I will give. I will not hesitate to give props when it's due. I just hope it's reciprocated. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
So anyway, we will see you back here tomorrow, and I appreciate you guys coming through the chat and definitely giving us your scores and your predictions of what's going to happen. Going to be a heck of a battle. I hope the referees can stay out of the way and we just see some football by two rivals that are ready to just play this game. You can hear it on both sides. And Brian, we're ready to watch this thing because, again, the fans have been talking for quite a bit. Even in the offseason, we're finally at least getting a little bit of taste of the next chapter of this rivalry. So one thing that I do appreciate everybody doing is not to forget to do what?
Oh, is to ring that bell?
Damn right. Well, is there bell time? I think so. No? I think so. All right, I'm ringing the bell. There we go.
Hey, we know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you? You. No, not me, you. Yes, I am you. Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
Gametime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here,
Cool name.
Oh.
Superpowers?
broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you gonna tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, Gametime Brian.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.